Can you hear me good?
Yes, sir. Hey, welcome to Let's Talk Short Track Racing.
Here we are in episode 3.
Episode 3.
Always trying to get this figured out more and more. I said, for our listeners, for our guests, try and just, get this thing. I always said, two men in a GoPro. Here we are, but we're getting it better and better every day. Last week we got yelled at all week long about our microphones. No one could hear us, and so now we got microphones working. So, yeah, no, I'm excited. We're gonna have two guests on tonight. We're gonna have
three guests.
Three guests.
We've got Ryan McCollough from South Alabama Speedway.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna be calling in here after a bit. I think he's in our 7:45 slot. Then on top of him, we've got Jeff Bloom.
Yep.
I mean, many time winner, champion USAC racer.
Yep.
And then on top of that, we got Ricky Brooks.
Yeah.
UARA himself.
Yeah. and what's nice is, when I'm Nate tonight do Tech Talk, so that'd be cool putting Ricky on the Tech Talk side, of racing and just obviously just who Ricky Brooks is, where he's from, what is, what's his past, how he got in the sport, the love for the sport, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's been busy all week here, just trying to get things ready. But here we are in Lakeland, Florida at the GTR studio making things happen. But how was your week, Allick?
Hey, it's been good. I spent the weekend. I was over at Montgomery, Alabama, for the Alabama 200.
Yeah.
I got to see my buddy John Bolin collect the bear.
Yeah.
He finished second 3 times.
And he finally got it done.
When
I watched the preview of that race, it was hard to watch. We actually went to the Supercross race in Daytona. I've never done that. Max Steinhorst is he's on our team. He races back home with us. And it was something he wanted to do, and I've never done it. And I'll tell you what, that's a bucket list. That's pretty cool to go to a race like that, and you see them guys flying through the air in the dirt bikes. Holy, but you just don't, when you're right in front of it and seeing how much control and how high them guys fly through the air was pretty cool. So that was neat. That's not my cup of tea, normally, but racing's racing, but we were into it. And the place was slam packed. I mean, the whole front stretch grandstands was fully packed, even way to the end, and then they bring everybody down on the racetrack, and it was all the way down. I mean, thousands of people there. It was pretty cool.
It's amazing the kind of show they put together, right? Because it's as much about the show as it is the race itself, and they know how to fill out a grandstand. That's for sure.
Yeah, Monster Energy sponsors that deal. That was big, but yeah, the short track stuff around here. I did get to watch the preview of the Montgomery race. I seen my boy's car. I always say Anthony is, I've worked with Anthony for years and knew him when he was a kid, and his cars are fast, and then they got Carson Brown driving his stuff. And the car was second to none, the car to beat the whole race. And then to watch your buddy at the end of it get it done. And I always say, obviously that was, he schooled him. Because on that restart, and he did. I mean, you could tell in his mind, I'm not losing this. He was on that outside, and he got it done on the entry, and it was the preview was really good.
No, they, it was a heck of a race. I was standing there on camera the whole time, and in TV you have leader cam and you have battle cam.
Yeah,
those are your 2 main shots. I was on bottle cam, and throughout the race, I was just jumping from shot to shot to shot, trying to get everything on the track. And it's not possible sometimes,
Yeah. No, good. I think it was a good race for the fans. Like I said, especially at the end, how it laid out, because Carson was every restart. Carson would get by, get going, and then check out. And then a caution will pull them back. But just like any other race, when you're firing off that hard and running that hard, you're also heating your stuff up, tearing your stuff down. You're using your stuff up. And in racing, there's a management there, And even the other guys, I always said in my lifetime in a race car, I always said, I'm not going to go that hard. I hated starting on the pole. If I started on the pole, 9 times out of 10 you'd burn your stuff down. And so I knew after years of doing it, you know what, I'm going to let these guys go, and I'll see them in 75 laps. So no, he did a great job. That was an awesome win. That was a great race. Like I said, I just got to see the preview, but I was kind of going through the watching the race bits and pieces because I just love racing, and the Supercross race had us so busy all weekend long. Like I said, it's neat, and I want to thank my buddy Max for having us come to that and do that thing with him. But the tickets weren't cheap, but how they parked us and everything was pretty cool. You're right in the mix of it. So
there's no shortage of racing in Florida.
We were just talking earlier, right? I coming from Wisconsin and seeing racing there, we have so much racing, especially asphalt racing, and lots of parts of the country know that, and then some don't know that. All the asphalt tracks we can race on Thursday at Kaukauna, WIR Speedway. We can race Friday at Madison, Golden Sands Speedway. I mean, it used to be Columbus, but they closed Columbus down. But Friday night shows, you have Grundy County runs on Friday nights also. So you got 3 tracks within I'll just say 120-mile circle that you can race on Friday nights. Then you got Saturday, and there's 3-4 tracks. You got Jefferson on Saturday, you got the Dells on Saturday, you got Marshfield on Saturday, you got La Crosse on Saturday, you got over there in Minnesota, Elko.
Oh yeah.
On Saturday. So there's a ton of race, and then you got Slinger on Sunday, and for asphalt racing. So we have a lot of cars, but we're so busy racing in that short bit of time that we race that you're like anything else out there. It's just you're busy, and of course then our season's over, and we're just building race cars and trying to get things done. And no different here in the shop. I mean, this has been, I'll just say, almost chaotic. I can't wait for the downswing. I want to get all these cars built, get the stuff done, and then you're just working on your setups and working on the speed and working on that sort of thing. But right now, just trying to get it done.
It's hard in Florida, right? Because you don't have an off season. You have a off season, which is
2 months, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
July and August when it's so damn hot, and then then most guys, they'll go up north and race a couple months just to get out of here.
So it's amazing how much you can race in this state, and I don't even know.
Yeah, I like it down here. The difference for me down here, just coming down here, all the years I've been coming down here, especially like the winter months, we come down. Me and my wife have always been, lucky enough to, in our business to get away, come down in the wintertime. Obviously, our son Kendrick was homeschooled, so we homeschooled him down here. And then I would just help Campy. When I first was starting to come down, I got hooked up with Anthony and Mario, and I'd help them guys and spend tons of time over there. And didn't know what, that was just my time to take up time. On top of I still got to sell X-ray equipment and still got to do my job with my X-ray business back home. But so Florida's got it's just a busy, a lot of going on, lots of tracks. I mean, there's a lot of tracks here, and it's spread. I mean, we were just talking about the Pro Late models. The Pro Late models is kind of an invented series, I would say probably 15 years ago, and probably 20, I don't know what it is. They had limited late models here, and then they had supers. Well, now there's no limited late models, and now you got Pro Late models, which kind of took that over. But the Pro Late model is actually, I feel like here it's a little different. I mean, everything's a super except for a crate engine, and then the payouts are not as much. But I'll tell you, you got Cordial that does real good on them. You got, you're seeing the steps to the Pro Late model down here that are, paying. But I sure wish they would take the bump stops out of them and go back to spring. That's just a crew chief, race car builder. Take the bump stops out of the pros. Yeah. Run the supers with the bump stops, all that technology, and just put these things on springs and legitly, tech them to where, you can get the bump stops out, making sure they're traveling an inch below the frame rail, which is easy to do. That we do it up home with our pros, but that's just what they are, and so. Well,
not to completely steer the conversation off the rails, but we've got Jeff Bloom coming up.
Yep.
And just to kind of preface that conversation, just this last weekend, we had, or even our last episode, we had a bunch of sprint car drivers on our show. It was a cool experience. We got to talk a lot of shop with a lot of big names. And, of course, now we got Jeff Bloom coming on.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking back at the children's Dream 50. that happened over at Citrus this last weekend.
Yep.
We had 4 folks that came in or called in, and all of them with top 5 finishes.
Yeah. 1, 2, and 3 were our guests. And then, then a 6th, I think it was. But I look, that was great. Just different for me too. Same thing. I'm bodied asphalt cars, but I'm a fan of all. Back home, we go to sprint car racing over at Angel Park Speedway on Sundays. We try to hit that 3-4 times a year, but the guests that we had, every one of them actually did really well. We were making a joke like first, second, and third. I'm watching the stats like, man, maybe it's lucky they come on our show.
Hey, we'll have to get more callers that way then.
Yeah, maybe. Come on, let's talk short track, and you'll be in the top 3 for sure. That's maybe that'll be our deal, but hopefully it works out with our own stuff.
And then looking forward to this weekend. I mean, you guys are going to Auburndale for Twin 50s.
The Twin 50s, that United Series or whatever that Florida came up with between Citrus and Auburndale. I think it's probably needed here. Getting the tracks working together, and them guys are working together trying to make that happen. So they got like a little series that they're running. So we're doing that with Kendrick and Nick with the supers on Friday's practice. Saturday we race, and then we're off getting ready for the Rattler. We were planning on taking actually 2 pros and 1 super, but things changed in the shop. We're actually taking 2 supers now. Kendrick's doing double duty and a pro. Actually, not even, and it's not the car that we built for him. We're just crunching on time, trying to get that car ready. But now he's going to run the Gart car and the Augie car that we're going to take down there. So we're trying to get that thing ready and getting motors moved around, getting things done, and it's, add to the list, right?
All right. Well, hey, let's throw it to commercial.
Yep.
On the other side of the break here, we got Jeff Bloom. I just saw him pop up here.
Awesome.
He's getting his hair ready. He's getting ready. So we got about a 2-minute commercial here, and we'll go ahead and have Jeff on.
Sounds good.
Hey there, I'm Amy Lynn Dahlman, and if you're looking to buy or sell a home, I've got you covered. Real estate doesn't have to be stressful. I make it simple and straightforward. Whether you're looking to buy your first home, upgrading to something new, or selling for top dollar, I'll help you navigate the market with ease. Let's chat and make your real estate goals happen. Reach out anytime at 321-961-2141.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Short Track Racing. Looks like we got veteran USAC Sprint Car Champion Jeff Bloom here, and we're going to go ahead and bring him into the show. Hey there, Jeff. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good. Happy to have you on.
Cool. Well, hopefully it's warmer down there. It's snowing like crazy up here.
Where are you at right now?
We're in Michigan.
Whew. It gets cold. Oh man.
Oh,
You still there?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, hey, it gets cold up there, but glad to have you on. Hopefully, we can get you a little bit of that sunny Florida experience. And our buddy Grant, we've got a mutual affiliation here with Grant Thormeyer, and he's sent me a whole sheet of stats on your racing career. But the first thing I got to ask you before I even get that far is, how did you even get started in racing?
Well, I went to my first race when I was 6 weeks old because my dad raced.
And your dad raced, and that caused you to just say, you know what, that's what I want to do.
Right. He retired in '59, and I started racing in '67. As I grew up, helped him. He had a auto mechanic shop, and I would help him out there. And we decided to build a super modified and stuff.
Super modified, man. That's a heck of a ride.
Well, you got to remember, back then it wasn't like they are today.
Fair enough. Grant's got one he's been building here in the shop, and he's awfully proud of it. So I'm sure he sent you pictures, right?
Yeah, is that a new one, Grant?
Grant's over behind the camera, but yes, they're rebuilding it.
Oh, okay. Because I saw him at Berlin last summer.
Yeah. No, he was off running it up there at Berlin, and now he's rebuilding it. He's got a heck of a schedule put together for it too. We're looking at
Cool.
what, 10 races, Grant, roughly. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's excited, man.
Oh, cool.
So, you've had a very storied career. Take me through some of the highlights. What are some of the parts of your career that you love the most?
Well, I think probably the racing family that you generate through the years of racing. It's great. I mean, you see people, back when we would run 50, 60 times a summer, you'd see them every weekend or 2 or 3 times on a weekend, the same people. So you got to know them pretty well, and you got to be pretty good friends with them. As far as the racing goes, I don't know. I've ran stock cars, sprint cars, super mods, really everything, and I enjoy racing them all. And
Well, we want to bring Frank into the conversation here. Frank, you got a good question here?
Yeah, no, Jeff, I was reading your resume here on your story on what you've done. I mean, I would love to sit down with you for days. You got the stories like my dad. My dad's 80 years old, and I hear the old stories like, back when you guys raced back in the day, you barely even had colored black and white TV, and everybody would listen to the radio to, when they would listen to the radio to watch the races if they were away. But I seen your career started in 1967, and then and when you're racing back then, like I always say, back then you got some stuff put together in your shop and everybody kind of brought it to the track, and the history of that sort of race, and you knew somebody and put stuff together. Is that kind of how you got started?
Well, yeah, you had to, because you didn't have all the different corporations and companies today that build parts specific for racing. You had to get stuff from the junkyard. You had to rebuild stuff. You had to make things yourself. I mean, like we build our own chassis and stuff. That's how it was back then.
Yeah. It's weird. Nowadays, it's, like that's what it is. You almost have factories that build cars. And I still go from, building stuff at home and making it homemade. It'd be no fun if I couldn't make it homemade and go racing. and make your,
Well,
like
exactly.
you say, you know.
Right. And believe me, I still do some of that too with mine. I try
Yeah.
to try something different all the time. And if you don't, you're not going to get going faster.
Yeah. No, I think it's your own ideas in race cars is what makes it fun. You know, you could buy a
Exactly.
Fury, you could buy these chassis, but at the end of the day, it's putting your own touch to it. That's what
Right.
makes it fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, well, that's the thing that for me, I really don't like what's happened in NASCAR racing because they dictate everything
Yeah.
that you do to the. So there's no real engineering to it to try to anymore. The only try to do is try to cheat and don't get caught.
Yeah. Yeah. Look for the gray area and build your car off the gray area. But
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
yeah, I was looking at one of your on one of your readings here. You got the race with AJ Foyt.
Oh, lots of times. Yeah,
I
they had some really good racing. As a matter of fact, I had a race in in Texas, not at the Texas World Speedway of today, but this was the one in College Station, Texas, and we were pitted right beside each other in the in the pit stalls, and we had motor issues, and we were standing there talking, and my dad was wrenching the car, and he took the valve covers off, and the rocker arms were bad. Evidently, when they heat treated them, they didn't heat treat them right. They were soft, and they were literally going bad, wearing out. And so he told me to go out with his mechanic Jack, and go out in his trailer and get some new ones and put on there, and that's what we did.
yeah. You never hear that anymore.
No, no.
Nowadays they just load them up if they're done.
Well, they pull out another one.
Yeah, exactly. You're pulling out a motor, whatever you got to do. Yeah, I come. You know,
Well,
my background is, you know, I'm 54 years old, so I remember guys on the short tracks like Dick Trickle, and you know
yep.
when Dick Trickle raced in Wisconsin, and that's where I'm from. You know, so it was a big
Oh,
deal that, and then like I was just telling Alec, I go to Angel Park Speedway like 3 times. I used to remember watching Stan Fox race there, and
sure.
then
Oh yeah.
yeah, did you know Stan?
Oh yeah. I knew most all these guys. I raced with Dick Trickle back then, because I ran stock cars too.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
ran youth stock cars, and then I ran outlaw stock.
yeah. Where where did you grow up? Where was home for
El-
you?
Elkhart, Indiana.
Okay, yeah, right in the middle of the country. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right in the middle of racing.
yeah.
I mean, lots of racing in Indiana, Michigan, Northern Illinois, Ohio. I mean,
That upper
a lot of
Midwest
racing.
is a
Yep.
busy part of the country for
Yep.
racing and good racing and still good racing for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's an absolute honor having you on our show. I mean, I feel like everything that you've done, and this is pretty cool. Like, have the history of racing, and a lot of these kids that race nowadays, they don't really know. Like my son Kendrick, he's 17 years old. He races, and I remember one time I was racing against Tom Reffner, and my son said to me, "Do you know who that is?" And I started laughing. I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "That's Tom Reffner. Do you know what he's done in racing?" It's cool that my son knew that history of what he's done, I lost him.
Teams too. So there really isn't too many people. This will be my 59th Euro racing. So there really isn't too many people that I haven't raced with over the years.
Yeah.
With all the different cars and different divisions that I've ran.
Well, Jeff, it's been an honor to have you on the podcast here. We've really enjoyed having you, and we're going to have you back here again soon. Um, we got to go ahead and toss a commercial break here. On the other end,
Sure.
we're going to have Ricky Brooks call in, and we're looking forward to talking to you again here soon, okay?
Okay, will do. You guys
Jeff,
take
thank
care.
you. Awesome talking to you.
You betcha, man.
That's pretty cool having him.
Hey there, I'm Amy Lynn Dahlman, and if you're looking to buy or sell a home, I've got you covered. Real estate doesn't have to be stressful. I make it simple and straightforward. Whether you're looking to buy your first home, upgrading to something new, or selling for top dollar, I'll help you navigate the market with ease. Let's chat and make your real estate goals happen. Reach out anytime at 321-961-2141. Hey there,
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Short Track Racing. Allick, Frank.
Here we are. 2 men and a GoPro.
We're doing all right, though. We're doing
We're
all right.
good. Yeah.
Hey, audio at least sounds good. And looks like Ricky's dealing with a couple technical difficulties with his call-in here. We're going to just fill a little airtime here while we wait for him. But, man, it's an exciting time in short track racing, ain't it?
It is. I feel like what's exciting time for racing alone. Just I always say everyone needs like something to do, right? And nothing like going to a short track, drinking beer, and talking smack. And I said that's all I've ever known my whole life. But just even talking to Jeff Bloom there, like I said, to me, I like what we've been doing lately with these new guys. I've never. Like I said, the sprint car stuff, I watch it. I'm a race fan. I'm a racer, race fan. But to have a resume, like, you imagine sit with that guy for an hour and everything you could hear.
Oh, yeah. The stories.
Oh, man. Like I said, I just think of, like everything them older guys have done, just like listen to my dad talk about racing in the past, and me being part of it, because like in the 70s, I was a little kid. But I remember, that's the things I remember, so. But we have Ricky yet, or?
Yeah, looks like Ricky's calling in here.
This will be a good time.
He's out in the middle of the nowhere, it looks like. Let me get his audio here. And, man, Ricky Brooks, what's going on, man?
You got us, Ricky?
Ricky, you got us? Well, looks like he's getting set up in a studio here. Give us just 1 minute. We'll see if we can figure that out.
I can hear the folding chair and the. No, the history of Ricky. Down here for me was, I always come down to speed weeks, during the races down at New Smyrna. Ricky was always the tech guy there. And then when I came down here with Campy, that, most of the races we went to. Any big race in the country was Ricky was a head tech guy, you know. And I always say in life, like, who wanted to be that guy? And then he took the shoes and wore them, you know, and
Volunteered, you know.
well, and I always say that's what it is when you start, you know. But then it's like the one thing that people don't know about a tech guy, the phone rings nonstop.
Oh yeah.
Nonstop. I mean, you're dealing, especially when you're dealing with different classes too. You know, like I back home up in Wisconsin, I helped with a lot of the tech world up there with the UMA and the Tundra Super Late Model Series back in the day, and it seems like everybody had a great idea on the phone, but no one wanted to step up the plate to do it. You know, so then next thing you know, you're doing it yourself, and then everybody hates you because you made the decision, whatever that decision was. But no, I don't envy that job. And now Ricky, even on taking on the side of a promoter, you know. Doing
Oh,
himself.
You there?
Yes, sir.
And we got Ricky. Hey, Ricky.
What's going on? I think we're still having technical difficulties. All right. I'm going to do it the old school way that we did last time. I'll just give
Put
him
him
a
on
call on
phone.
my phone,
Yeah.
and we'll go from there.
Fallouts fails, right? Just call the guy.
Hey, we'll go
Excellent.
old school.
Yeah, it worked out well last time, I thought.
Hey, Ricky. So the video wasn't working for whatever reason, so we figured we'd just call you the old school way.
I couldn't even hear y'all.
Yeah, I don't know. We could hear you. We had video and everything, just couldn't hear you. But either way,
We got you on live now, so.
Okay.
But no, we were just telling Ricky, like, one of the things that I always said that the shoes that you wear in the race world nowadays is, you know, one day you were a racer, and then from racing you became a tech guy, and me and we've talked in the past, and I've done that too in my life, and no one wants to be that guy. That's a tough role to take, and you know, like a little bit. Kind of let the people know, like, what got you started in it. I mean, I know you used to race back in the day. What years were you racing?
My dad had me racing in high school at 16. He put me straight into a late model. Back then it was a 2-barrel or 4-barrel late model. And he put me directly into a late model. He said, if you're going to race, you're going to start where you belong, or you're not going to do it. So he was old school. We had to build everything that we had, from engines to everything else. So we built cars during the week to be able to afford to race on the weekends, and we did everything right there in a small shop.
That's awesome. That's where, when me and you have talked, that's where your history comes then from. When you're doing it at home with your parents, right? And that's, I feel like I miss that so much in racing. Now it's almost like we need full-time crew chiefs and full-time people to go racing. And it's, you know, I miss the days where it was me and Dad in the shop and building a race car, and but now technology has gotten so, you know, I always say out of control. Like, we can't keep up with it. It comes out faster than we can even come up with it. And I was just even talking about AI, and I'll be honest, I've used AI already in racing, and it's here, and it's only going to get worse. But I said the role that you take on now, no one wants that role. And then of course the guy that takes it on, you're always the guy that, oh, you're never doing it right. You got somebody out there always constantly saying you're never doing it right. But the biggest thing is I said that's a role that no one wants, but you took on it, and you're so known in the country for it. You've done well, and like, in your going from racing cars to teching, what was the decision? Just to say, man, this is a mess? Is that kind of like what did it, or what kind of got you in that side?
And it just got so expensive that you couldn't afford to do it, you know, unless you had a deep pocket. So got into the tech side of it and learned a lot more, and it just snowballed from there. I started getting calls from other places wanting me to come tech, you know, and do that stuff, and then it just kept going. And one thing that I think my team brings that no other team out there has is organization.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
And from before the team ever gets there till they leave, and every one of my people, they've been with me a long time. We have to have fun, whether it's an official or the racer. We all have to have fun. At the end of the day, we want people to leave in there happy, and it doesn't matter if it's the track owner or the racer or the officials or the fans. We want people happy, and because if you're happy, you're going to come back. And if you had a good time, you're going to come back. That's the whole mentality of what we try to bring to the table, and we can still get our job done in tech and everything, and everybody feels like they left there and they were treated well. You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the bigly. We try to. We feed people. Yeah, we could take that money and put it in our pockets, but I go out and get sponsors to pay for that food for everybody on Friday night, and I want more of that to happen at other events, and one day it will.
Yeah.
Because we're gaining traction with that kind of stuff, and the racers really enjoy it and appreciate it.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the first thing I noticed when, we came up, even up there, the Cordele, like right away, the pressure's off. I felt like anything I've raced, there's always pressure. You have this sort of pressure. In your series, when we came out there to race, there's less pressure, and it's fun. Like, I like how you got the music playing, your guys in the tech, even, if there's something even, questionable on the car, they don't make a big deal of it. They're just say, hey, and they give you a direction to go. And, I like you have your brother, your family helping stuff, and same thing. They make it fun, and I said that's what's always been missing in a lot of these tour stuff, right? Your tour is one of the bigger tours in the country right now, and I have fun doing it. I said that, and you're always looking for the better of the racer. Me and you talked about the no ride height thing, and you were saying, yeah, we've been talking about that for a couple of years, and I said that at home when I did that back home, the no ride height deal. Man, I couldn't believe it. It's like taking that guy immediately that just, everybody's trying to ride these cars through ride height, and they're all doing the tricks of the trade. And well, how you can run a pair of Coney shocks and run no ride height and be competitive, with the ride height, with the ride height rule, it's like you're trying to do all the different things. So I like what you guys are about and what you're constantly looking forward to. How do we keep this under control? Because we have to. I always say these guys that talk, well, that's super late model racing. Well, then let's lay down the cards on. Let's get carbon fiber. Let's get it all. Like if you think you're all moneyed out, let's get titanium, carbon fiber, and let's do it right then. If that's what you think it is, and there still has to be control, no matter what. And
it's no different. It's no different than any other sort of racing. It's like when I got brought into the TA2 stuff with Trans Am. That stuff was headed in the wrong direction, and we reeled it back in, and there was races that we had 50 cars at.
Yeah.
With TA2, and if you start letting that exotic stuff and all this other crap come into the play, it's going to do nothing but run people off. And it doesn't matter if it's that type of racing or a Crown Vic. You have to keep it affordable, and you have to treat people the way you want to be treated, or it's not going to work.
Yeah. No, for sure. I enjoyed the years I worked with you, Ricky. I enjoyed my time with you. Me and you have fun, and we're a family that's that way, and we see that within you. And I think you're good for the sport. Now you took on the role here for the last bunch of years as a promoter, and taking that role on. So coming from a racer to tech, now into promotion, it's almost like promotion's harder than race to teching.
Well, you're exactly right, because you got to try to get people to the racetrack and all that. But there's a fine line there. You got to keep people wanting to come back.
Yeah. And and I always say that, like the series you got, the super late models. It's like I always say any series. It doesn't matter what it is in the country. That you carry these 20 cars, 15 cars, whatever it might be. It's your cars, right? But we need them cars when we go to these facilities, like when you go to Cordele, when you go to any track. Right now we're going to Radler. You need them locals to come with, right? You need them guys that race their tracks to come into your series, And that's the part where it makes it work. And I've said that for years. I said, well, you can be a series and have 15 cars, but if you don't have their 10 or 15, you don't have nothing. And, you know,
Well,
that,
we focus on those.
Yeah.
15 come back because there's a lot more of those guys than they are the big teams that can. They're going to be there no matter what. They don't care what it pays because they're getting paid to be there.
yeah.
I need
Yep.
the people that want to be there, and they're looking at what it costs them to be there, and that's what we're focusing on.
Yeah. The future of this sport in your mind, where do you see the future going in your mind?
We're going to have to start thinking some old school ways and dial the cars back a little bit and stuff like that. It's like the pro late models. Right now, pretty much everything's Fords. Tom Mayberry, people say what they want to him about him, but I've had a couple meetings with him and even went up to one of his events. He's got a pretty good thing going with just 604s only.
Yeah.
At one time, he used to have 50 engine packages, but now it's 604s only.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I make the joke of people can say all they want about a 604. It's still the cheapest motor. You don't refresh it. That gets that guy to work on every other part of his car. And one of the things, just up in Wisconsin, our Pro Late model is a little different. They don't have bump stops and that sort of thing, but our Pro Late models up there, 80% of our Pro Late models are on 604 crate engine and a stock one. And I think that's the future. You know, it goes back to the buy off the shelf motor. You know, like everybody has a con when they're selling a motor, you know, and I'm not cutting on any engine builder. I'm not. I think all of them, you know, we have Jeff Hamner engines. He does a great job. I mean, I have Wagner up in Wisconsin I've worked with for years. I mean, these guys do a great job, but these motors got so expensive, and then everybody complains about, the 604 is $8,000. Go buy a brand new motor right now, a race engine. Good luck. You know, we have rules for $26,000 on a Southern Parts motor, and I don't think anybody spent $26,000 on one. You know, it's that sort of thing. But then the other part is the oil lines, the oil tank, all that stuff goes with it. But no, I'm excited to work with you. Like I said, me and you have gotten along for years, and I felt like where you're headed, what you're doing, we're trying to, you know, no different in this podcast. You know, here we are, our third episode. It's taking traction, right? But I want this to be an open thing where we can talk about this stuff, and we'll have Ricky Brooks on more times than in the future. I feel like I want this to be an open, like you said, Ricky, all hands down. We just got to say it. I love the old school, bringing back the old school. Why? That's what we have to do. How do we get this, and how do we get the fans back to the tracks too? That's the other part that goes with it. Mm-hmm. Bring the cars, you get the fans. And, you know, things cost so much nowadays. I mean, crepes, we can't even put groceries in our house for freaking less than $600 a week. I mean, it's that sad when you got a family.
Right.
But
well, and it's just like you talk about the 604s. I started another SEAL program here a few weeks ago, you know, and then the other groups put out that they wasn't going to honor my SEALs. I don't really care.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't give a shit what steel you got on your motor. I want you to come race.
Yeah. At the end of the day.
I'm almost to the point now where I don't need your money. I don't need your seals. Myself and the people I got around me, we're smart enough to take an engine, and I'm about ready just to say bring it.
Yeah.
But I need racers. That's what I need. I need racers at the racetrack. Then the racetrack's going to have fans, and then we all survive.
You bet. When you bring cars, you bring fans because they bring their families. And we were just talking about your engine program a week ago on the last podcast. Actually, the last 2 weeks we talked about it. Me and Nate that does Tech Talk with me, and we were talking about, you know, the controversy with that. And I always say the controversy is this. If you can strap 8 Briggs and Strattons in that motor compartment and make it work, why can't it race? I mean, that's what racing used to be. But we just have to have control of it, right? Just some sort of acknowledge of it. What is it? How much power does it make? Does this work? And at the end of the day, okay, if this guy's got this and this is how much power it has, and we go to every engine builder and we know how much power it has, well, maybe it's got to weigh this. And we just balance it out.
I don't care if you can build your own motor.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you bring it to me to a point we'll check the motor, we'll check the motor, and then we'll put it together. I'll seal it there for you.
Yeah.
I had a guy from South Florida to Georgia a few weeks ago with a Sportsman motor.
Yeah.
He brought it up there. We teched it in the back of a pickup truck. He put it together, and I sealed it. And then he said, "What do I owe you?" You don't owe me shit because you just drove 4 hours to get this motor done. I need you at the racetrack.
Yeah.
So whatever was gonna pay me, just use that for gas money to come to the racetrack.
There, exactly. That's old school racing. You know, I said at the end of the day, you bring your stuff, bring it. We'll figure it out as it goes on. And at the end of the day, we already know motors, you know, especially a lot of these bull rings, these racetracks, these short tracks around here, motor becomes not the part you have to worry about. It's getting these cars a handle and that sort of thing, but bring it out. Well, man, I'll tell you, Ricky, it was cool that you came on here with us and talked with us about what we're trying to get, you know, what we're trying to do here. And we're a lover of this sport, right? This is our addiction. We, you know, cocaine and hookers were cheaper, but here's what we had decided to do. But,
Right.
but it,
You know, and everybody's talking about the car count going into the Rattler. It's a little bit down this year, but I don't think it's going to be down much from last year, but it doesn't matter. It's about getting people to the racetrack. We've had some people step up, make the purse a little better. All we want is a good weekend, good field of cars, and we'll build from there. We wanted you to use your $10,000 to come to the racetrack instead of us putting it in our pocket. That's what we want.
yeah.
That's what John Dykes wants. He wants you to come spend the money at the racetrack and just show up. So that's why I come out with the Diamond program. I want everybody to I don't give a
Oh, no, do we lose them?
you there?
Oh, yeah, I got you back. Yep. Two. I noticed, like, when we were at Cordele, there was the tires, the AR tires. You had $700 a set. That's the cheapest I've ever seen in the country for 4 tires. And
The tires at the Rattler are $740 out the door. John Dykes refuses to charge people to mount something he sold you, so he's eating that cost.
yep.
But they're $740 out the door.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's where, you know, with racing, I think that American Racer, I'm impressed with that tire. We don't run that much up north, but I'll tell you, I've got 3-4 tracks looking at it. We've been on it now a couple of times. I'm actually really impressed with it. I like it because it repeats in practice. You don't have to buy a mock set. You show up, you can run on practice, you can get your car dialed in, and then when you go out on qualifying, you just put your new tires on. You don't have to go buy, you know, 10 sets of tires to make it happen. How do we get them tires at Five Flags for the Snowball Derby?
I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Very, very good question, because I think they run that shit tire, don't they?
Yeah, I'll tell you, racers there again. When you're a guy that builds cars like myself and works on them, and you know when you see this tire, you know.
That's what the ST stands for, don't it?
Yeah. Shit tire. I know we're struggling up in Wisconsin with them. I can tell you that right now. It's like it's frustrating. You spend this kind of money, and I said it on 2 podcasts ago as a crew chief, right? Here we are nowadays. These cars are so critical. Now we're pointing the finger at tires. And it's sad to say, Ricky, because the cars are that critical. The tire means so much, you know.
It doesn't matter what tire you run on. You're going to have a bad tire every now and then.
Yeah.
The Pirellis and TA2, every now and then you got a bad tire, but it is what it is.
Yeah. It's just
You're going to get a bad shock.
Yeah. Yep. Been there. Yeah. Anything. You get. Yeah. But not a bad Bassett wheel, because Bassett wheel sponsors are. I'm going to tell Brian that, right? I better not get no bad. But hey, we got to let you go, bro. We got a commercial to hit, but thank you for calling in. And Ricky, let's stay in touch for our podcast. This thing's taking great traction. Like I said, it's growing and growing. We're doing it weekly, but we'll definitely have Ricky Brooks folks on our show. Keep talking like this. I like the tech talk part of it, and we just says how
Hopefully
it is.
We'll see everybody at the Rattler next week.
Yep, we'll have 2 supers there and 1 pro, so we'll be there with 2 supers. Yep. So,
all right, y'all have a good night.
Yep, thanks a lot, Ricky.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Amy Lynn Delman. And if you're looking to buy
was
or
cool.
sell a home, I've got you covered. Real estate doesn't have to be stressful. I make it simple and straightforward. Whether you're looking to buy your first home, upgrading to something new, or selling for top dollar, I'll help you navigate the market with ease. Let's chat and make your real estate goals happen. Reach out anytime at 321-961-2141.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Short Track Racing. Man,
How come
Ricky
we don't-
Brooks, what a heck of a promoter, man.
I think the thing is he's raw. You know what I mean by that is I feel the same way. Like where this is it, right? We're racing cars. We're out here. Everybody's spending this money to go do this stuff. No matter what you say, racing's struggling. No matter what, you know. Like, and I say that just the economy is struggling. And you take the race fan. It's that blue collar. You know, like I was just saying, groceries are $600 a week when you got a family of four. I mean, and this is where we're at. So them are the fans that are coming to this, you know, to the racetrack. And so you're trying to make things, you know, great so they can afford to be there and that sort of thing. But it's no different than racers. So it's tough no matter which way you look at it. And
Absolutely,
always
you
got-
know.
yeah.
And but to look forward to this upcoming next weekend and to talk a little bit more about the Rattler, we've got Ryan McCollough here on the screen. Let's see here, we got you faded in. Hey, what's going on, Ryan?
Can you hear us?
And we've got issues again.
Well, we can see ya. He's typing right now.
Yep.
So.
So you go ahead and hold down the fort here. I'll
Yeah,
get this
no,
dialed
you-
down
you
with
get
Ryan.
No, I mean, it seems like racing always comes back to, you know, like the cost of things. And the biggest thing with just the cost of doing it, number one, but even the fan getting to the track. I was saying this today to a fan that came in the shop where we're all $299, $399, $499 a month and owning a boat, a camper, a Harley Davidson, that sort of thing. And so, I mean, when you buy that stuff and you have a loan on it, you better use it.
Oh yeah.
So years ago, race fans used to be, man, I'm hitting the track every Saturday. That's what we do. We sit in our spot. It's that one spot. We eat the hot dogs over in the, you know, in the concessions, and that's what it is. And it's just different. But now we got him on here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we got Ryan. Sorry about the technical issues there, buddy, but glad to have you on.
Not a problem at all. Glad for you guys to have me on.
Man, we're here looking forward to the Rattler 250 weekend coming up next weekend. Man, you look at the history of this event, and it's just exciting, right?
Oh, it sure is. We folks down at South Alabama Speedway really look forward to this event every single year because it's really the only time we get to have super late models and pro late models at our facility. We used to have a summer Pro Late Model series, but that's gone by the wayside a few years ago. So we're excited to welcome some of the best super late model, Pro Late Model drivers in all of America to our home, a little piece of heaven down in southeastern Alabama. And it's the 49th time we've ran the Rattler 250, and we're looking forward to making this the biggest and best we've ever had.
Man, I sit here and think of all the great sayings you've said about South Alabama Speedway, and you're just like, it's God's country,
It is.
Man, we've also got a little mascot with us here today.
Yeah,
we found ourselves our own little Rattler
We got the
snake.
Rattler here.
So we're preparing for Victory Lane.
We got the cups. Rattler.
We've got the South Alabama Speedway Cups. We've got the snake for the Rattler. You could say we're in full swing here.
Oh, that's awesome. That snake ceremony in Victory Lane is probably one of the most unique victory lanes in all the country. You get a grandfather clock in Martinsville, you get to chug the milk in Indianapolis, but there's no other place in the world maybe that drapes a 5-foot diamondback or timber rattlesnake around your neck in Victory Lane and makes you hold it for the picture. A few years ago on the one of the original Dale Jr. downloads, Ask Junior segments, they brought up the Victory Lane at the Rattler, and Dale Jr. Point blank said, that might be one of the races that if I'm leading, I'm stepping on the brakes coming off turn 4 because I'm not
My wife said that. My wife told my son, if you're leading that thing, you better slow down and take second. I don't want a snake after.
And there's been some awesome Victory Lane moments with those rattlesnakes. I mean, two that just come to mind right off the top of my head was one where the picture's gone all over social media and everything ever since. Is Christopher Bell, who's off to a hell of a start in the Cup Series this year when he won his Rattler a few years ago, and they draped the snake around his neck. I mean, he looked like he almost jumped out of his skin. And then perhaps the funniest Rattler moment was when Harrison Burton won his Rattler a few years ago. And, of course, Kim and Jeff were there that weekend supporting Harrison. And Kim got in the pictures in Victory Lane, and she didn't know the snake was there. Or the snake would make an appearance, and they dropped that snake in there, and it kind of like grazed the back of her leg or something like that. And I think she was faster to turn 1 than the race cars were that afternoon. She was out of there.
Man, you talk about that race, and that's honestly one of the best finishes to a race I've ever seen in my entire life. There's been a lot of great racing come Rattler weekend at the South Alabama Speedway. What comes to mind for you, as just an amazing race?
Well, I can go back and I can tell you the greatest finish to a race I've ever seen in my life was for a Rattler. I believe it was 2007 when Hunter Robbins, who's a well-known late model competitor across the Southeast, drove for many years for Ronnie Sanders, was racing side by side with Augie Grill, who needs no introduction. Everybody knows Augie's accolades. He's probably one of the greatest to ever do it. Well, they were racing side by side, and this is back when Hunter was, I don't know, probably 15, 16 years old maybe, and Augie was established as one of the best wheelmen in the country, and they were door to door for a lot of that last segment of that race, and coming off of turn number 4 on the final lap, they were side by side, Augie on the bottom and Hunter on the outside, and they got together, and Augie got turned across the nose of Hunter Robbins and basically got pushed to the start-finish line to win the race, sideways, wrecking across the finish line between Hunter Robbins and Augie
the best
Grill.
moments. But
our track photographer, Mark Chisholm, got a fantastic photo of it. It makes the rounds normally about this time every year. But, yeah, all the way back in 2007, great finish. And then since then, great racing. We can't talk about the Rattler without talking about two guys, and that's Bubba Pollard and Ty Majeski.
Yeah.
And they put on a absolute barn burner of a show a couple of years ago when Ty took the challenge of surrendering his starting spot and going to the tail of the field to try to win the $10,000 bonus, and got to the front of the field, and was leading with 10 to go. But
as Bubba Pollard tends to do a lot, do state pacing, chasing down and passing. With a handful of laps to go in a meeting of the two giants of super late model racing. But yeah, that's just a couple of stories of great finishes and great racing. And you have drivers from all across the country that have come to South Alabama Speedway, and they'll tell you pretty much that it's a racy little racetrack. You can work the outside lane. You can, of course, the preferred line's on the bottom. If you want to go up top, you can make time up there. It's not just I got to pin it on the bottom and stay there all day, and hopefully somebody makes a mistake. I can go past people in different avenues or different routes, and I think it shows itself over the course of 250 laps on what used to be Sunday, but now be Saturday night.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Man, it's amazing just the history of this event and the prestige tied to it. You think of the crown jewels in super late model racing. This has got to be up there. It's got to be one of the top ones. It's one that everybody wants to win. Maybe not for the snake part, but for the trophy. It's a hell of a trophy too. And for the fact that it just sets up your season going into the rest of the year.
I can't wait. Last time I was there was with Cole Anderson. It's that long with Campy, the 81 team. I mean, we were there with a 97. It's funny, we were there with a 97 car with Cole, and we're going with a 97 car with my son. So my son, Kendrick, he was a little kid. He was a little baby. Like during that time, he was really little. He's so Kendrick now coming with the super and the pro. And
making us feel old over here.
I always think back then, because that was the first time I've ever been there when I went with Cole, and I said it was because I used to own the Dells racetrack. So for me, like racetracks, each racetrack has a character. There's two things I remember most about the Radler. The racetrack is in the middle of nowhere. Number one, I was like, holy cows, where's the closest hotel to this place? Number two was the fans. The fans are awesome. I mean, I'm not kidding you. There's so many fans, and they're the right fan. They're the fan that you love, right? Mm-hmm. This is the fan that you want. You wish every track had. And it was cool. We got to talk to the fans, but no, we're looking forward to it. I mean, I'll be there, crew chief, and my son and Nick Neary both. They'll both be running the super, then Kendrick will be running the pro, so Kendrick will be doing double duty. But we'll be there with a 97, and it was funny. I was just thinking of that. Holy cows, we were there with a 97 car. Here we go again. We ran good. We actually ran strong on that race. We didn't win it. I remember Ty won it the year we went, and I remember that's the first time he won it. That was when Ty first won it, and then his mom freaked out when that snake went around.
No, it's amazing. You look at it's not quite up, right? It's Kingston, Alabama.
It's actually located basically halfway between the two communities of Opp and Kinston. A lot of people say that when they go to the Rattler, we're going to Opp because that's the closest town of any size, because it's about 6,000 people, maybe give or take some. But the town of Kinston, which is on the east side of the racetrack, is a much smaller place, but it's about halfway in between, and it gets tied to Opp a little bit more, especially this weekend, because of the Rattlesnake Rodeo, which is the event that kind of goes hand in hand with the race. In the city of Opp, they have country music acts and a big festival downtown in the football stadium there at Opp High School. I think they're bringing in Shenandoah, a country music act this year, along with some other folks. It's a big festival there. The Rattler is the race is just a small part of it.
Man, and you've got so many great supporters and sponsors in this event that also help elevate it to that next level. Can you talk about a little bit about the partners that the track has that helps bring this event together?
Absolutely. We couldn't do it without them. I promise you that. And John Dykes would tell you the same thing. The big sponsor for the weekend is Hardee's, our local Hardee's restaurants, franchisees. Do an amazing job at supporting us on this weekend, setting up breakfast at the pit gate for our teams and stuff to get some biscuits and coffee and stuff on those cold early March South Alabama mornings. We thank
That
them
biscuits
so
and
much.
gravy, man.
I haven't figured that out down here yet.
And then for our pro late model portion of the event, we have some great sponsors with the folks at Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and Crate Racing USA. They're doing so much for pro late model racing along the Gulf Coast and in the Deep South, and we're super, super happy to partner with them. And then maybe our longest tenured sponsor for this weekend is Joe Richburg and JR's Lawnmower Shop, which is located over in Opp, Alabama. He's been a supporter on this weekend in the South Alabama Speedway for over 20 years. He's a great person, great human being, loves racing, loves the local community, and it's not just lawnmowers. Don't let the name fool you there. I mean, if you need a side-by-side or a tricked-out golf cart or anything like that, Joe Richburg and his guys over there in Opp can hook you up. We have Step 1 Automotive Group as our Victory Lane sponsor. They make a lot of things happen, and we have a lot of great people. O'Reilly's Auto Parts is another one local here that help us out and make things possible. But yeah, those big ones of Crate Racing USA, Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet, JR's Lawnmower Shop, and Parties really make things happen for us on this weekend.
Awesome. That sounds awesome. I can't wait. We're coming over there, and we're doing some testing with you guys. We haven't been there, so we're looking forward to meeting you guys there on Monday for sure.
One thing I've got to tell Frank right now, one thing he absolutely has to get throughout the weekend there is the chili cheese fries.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The world famous chili cheese fries, we like to say.
Oh, we're in. I didn't get this figure because I held back.
Yeah, those chili cheese fries, I mean, Miss Sandra Dykes and her staff and those concession stands and Sonia Chance as well. I'd be mistaken if I didn't mention her because Sonia keeps those things running. Man, those girls and those ladies in that concession stand whip out some absolutely great stuff. But those chili cheese fries, wow, that's all I can say. That
makes it fun. Like I said, I was just talking about that the fans, right? And then you look forward to stuff like that, and then that's what you remember. That's. My racetrack, when I had the Dells racetrack, we always had it was called a walking taco. Oh, man. We had a Frito bag. Yeah. We opened it up, threw the stuff in it. Everybody talked that. And then the other one was the walking spuds. We took a bowl of red potatoes, like the little baby reds.
Yep.
Sour cream, cheese, everything full of butter. I mean, you're probably a heart attack in a bowl, but
we're gonna have to start doing a segment of the show that's just about track food.
Yeah, track food. Like who's got the best track food and what they have, right?
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be on camera working for Racing America. So obviously we want everybody to get to the track that can get to the track. But by all means, if there whatever reason you can't get there, tune in and watch the broadcast. You'll hear Ryan's beautiful voice here. And I think you got, Jake Wilson on the call with you?
Yeah, Jake, again this year. What I like to say, my amigo, Rodney Rodriguez couldn't be with us this year. Love working with Rodney, but he was unable. So, it's great to go to the bullpen and get a confident closer like Jake Wilson to come in and help me out. He did it last year, kind of on the spur of the moment when Rodney had some travel issues. But Jake's coming in he'll be there on Friday and Saturday to help me do the late model portions. And then if you are a local fan or a fan of the local events and want to watch on Thursday on Racing America, I'll be joined up in the booth by Kevin Dixon, who is the voice of Dothan Motor Speedway, a local dirt track here. And I'm telling you right now, Kevin can flat out call a race as well. So if you're just a fan of good broadcasting, mute me and listen to Kevin because he'll get it going for you too.
Are we trying to do a podcast there next week?
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah,
we're going to try to do a remote podcast. We'd if you're there, we'd love to have you. At the end of the day, I think cross promotion across all brands rises all ships, right? And So we're going to be cranking out some content all week. If there's anything you guys need from us, we're always happy to help. Whether we get you back on the show. I talked to Jake earlier. He said he's interested in coming on. Of course, we also already had Ricky on.
Yeah.
So we're going to be chopping up some and clipping up some of these interviews as well, and trying to get them up on social media. So, man, we're excited. We're happy to have you, and thank you, man. Thank you for coming on with us and talking a little short track racing.
And it's one of my favorite things in the world to talk about, and I'm glad you guys had me on, and we look forward to seeing everybody next weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, for the 49th Rattler weekend.
All right. Well, Ryan McCollough, thanks again, and we'll see you here next weekend.
All right. Sounds great, guys. You have a wonderful night.
You too.
Awesome. That'll be good. Yeah, I think we ought to try to do the podcast. That'd be cool to do it on Wednesday. Even if it wasn't a live one, but we could go live and then...
Yeah, or we can record it and I can kind of edit it together. Whatever we got to do.
Right on the front stretch.
Yeah.
With a snake wrapped around your neck.
Yeah, I won't be there.
Maybe we use Ryan Tiki to do the podcast with me. He can wear the snake or whatever.
There you go.
No, I also want to thank Bassett Racing Wheels and Joe's Racing Products. They're a sponsor of the podcast with here, and we'll probably get their stuff up on screen here in the next couple weeks. But
yes,
we want to also thank them. And and all of our other sponsors that we have doing the commercials and stuff. But
I mean, we've got some great partners. Looks like 5-Star Race Car Buddies is one you forgot to mention there, buddy.
Hey, I promote them well. They always like, Frank's the guy that gives all the bodies away. So if you need a body, don't talk to me. But
no, just give 5-Star a call. They'll take great care of you.
Oh yeah, the family, I love them well. They're a great family that owns 5-Star Bodies, and everybody that works there is good people. But I think this was a great segment. Hopefully next week you'll see us, and Wednesday, hopefully, if we do a live podcast from
Wednesday, Thursday if we can't, and Grand Ridge Chevy.
Gandridge
They're also
Chevrolet,
a great partner. I'm just going to keep pointing you over.
I laugh. I just put a Gandridge Chevrolet crate motor. One thing here in the podcast, we want to let people know out there, we do sell crate engines here, 602, 604 motors here at GTR in Lakeland, Florida. And we're excited for Gandridge Chevrolet. So we're the South, I don't like to call it the South Division, but whatever you're looking for a crate engine, just get a hold of us at GTR Racing and we'll get you hooked up. We just put a brand new stock 604 in our GART car going to the Rattler. So it was kind of cool that Ricky, we were planning on taking a Ford, but we ended up taking a stock 604 instead. So that's what we're going to go with. So,
hey, you know what? That's part of short track racing. You got to change things on the fly. And man, it's exciting to see how this new car will turn out. You've got a lot of new parts and pieces on all these vehicles.
Yeah, I'm hoping we won't have we'll have the GART car at the Rattler. We got a lot of, Augie stuff in there, like what we're doing, and then some of the stuff that me and Nate put in there too. But, we'll have our car, the Super, and Nick's car both, if we don't tear them up.
Yeah, keep it clean, guys. Hey, if we got a
good
message to our racers here, it's keep it clean this weekend at Auburndale. And
hey, we're on a podcast. It should be a top 3, right?
Absolutely.
That's the going rate right now?
We'll try to keep it that way. And again, thank you to all our great partners.
Yeah.
Thank you to all our great fans. And we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Check out.
Hey there, I'm Amy Lynn Dahlman. And if you're looking to buy or sell a home, I've got you covered. Real estate doesn't have to be stressful. I make it simple and straightforward. Whether you're looking to buy your first home, upgrading to something new, or selling for top dollar, I'll help you navigate the market with ease. Let's chat and make your real estate goals happen. Reach out anytime at 321-961-2141. Hey there, I'm Amy Lynn Dahlman.